before we move on with another question, I just want to say where I was saying that with all these requests on Facebook that, I have bands that offer to play for free. And this way, if they are listening, I don't want to do them any disservice, but they have to realize, hey, if the economy was great and people were just busting them on down my door to drink, no matter who was playing, absolutely.
So 6 years ago wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, I don't know. I'm only here too. You'd have to ask Vince that, but absolutely. Play for free. Oh my God. Yeah. Come on in, play. But they don't realize that you're playing for free. And if you can't bring people in, because the Valley's very finicky. What works up there doesn't work in Scranton, and what works in Scranton doesn't work up there. There's bands I could sit here for an hour and tell you that played at Vince's that don't draw at mine, and there's bands like Ablaze that draw at mine that
aren't going to draw at mine on Saturday, January 3rd. Right, Saturday.
And it's because it's a demographic game and it's a number game. Like Jimmy just happens to be a school teacher at Mid Valley. Amanda, the same thing. Those people aren't going to drive to Scranton and risk a DUI. So hopefully, I have the problem where the people up there would pick and choose. If they don't know the band like this past Friday, they're not going to come. Even though my regulars will be there, but they'll leave. Yeah,
but do you think there's any there's a correlation between the way you advertise, how you advertise, what you're doing? Do you think that would bring more people out, even if it's some unknown band?
Do you think that the advertising that you're doing is effective? Do you feel like that people are actually paying attention?
That's a kick-ass question.
To those,
I'm going to finish my beer. Let the Sidewinder take that one, and then I'll chime in.
Well, since the Dragon is passing this off on me,
I can't wait till we make T-shirts for you guys.
The Sidewinder. It sounds so dirty and slithery. Yeah.
Appropriate.
And the Dragon, of course, because of his porn past, but we won't get
retired with benefits.
It's hard to say if the advertising is effective. I mean, it's great when, and I have to thank Vinnie for this because he got me into the radio. I was doing radio the whole time, but I was letting them at the studio do my things with their voices. And Vinnie happened to invite me in on a Grace's Downfall CD release, and basically,
can we put a pin in that, because I want to hit that point
where he
keep going,
where he basically says I brought my good friend T in from Thirsties, and T, your place is a shithole, which was great.
One of the best commercials ever.
But I had people approach me to say that, wow, that was so cool that like you two got together, because they don't know that we were
in a weird
friends.
way, it was three.
Yeah, but he wasn't there.
Yeah,
Jimmy McGrath.
I know that, but
he wasn't there.
But that was
and
the
we
thing.
still don't like him.
Yeah, I've never personally met that guy.
He's my cousin. He's wonderful.
Now I like him less.
But that was the thing where I remember I called you up and you're like, here's the spots, and you sent me. He sent me yours, and then you sent me yours, and I'm like, dude, I have never heard 3 bars get together and do that, which to me I thought was commendable, and
people like they appreciate it.
It was weird how but you guys cross promoted it and basically kicked the shit out of each other.
Well, I'll say this: I think Grace's Downfall is an incredible band, and it was their CD release party, and they were playing in the 3 of the best live bars in the area. I just thought it was best for them.
Right.
Well, I certainly didn't think it was going to hurt my business.
Right.
That never crossed my mind. But to promote a band that talented, to just say, hey, wow, because I don't know if anybody's heard their CD, you know what I'm talking about. These guys can write songs. They're super talented. And I will definitely remind you when I pay you next time you play about this plug I did on here.
But he introduced me, the Dragon.
The Dragon.
The Dragon introduced me to this, and now we're doing our own commercials. But it really is a testament to have people come up to you and say, hey, this week was awesome. That radio spot's just totally ridiculous. Radio, I think somewhat works. Now, in my past, the 30 years, and politics as well, if you're not on Channel 16, it's not real. You know, if you're not on one of the newscasts, whether it's 6 in the morning, noon, or 6, in campaigns that I've even run, you know, that's where you would focus all your money. Because when it hits there, then people say, wow, everybody sees it.
It's almost like it's legitimized.
It's legitimate. Yeah, absolutely. Radio, you know, I'm not too sure. I mean, when I first opened my place over there 2 blocks away from Vince, which was T's Corner News and Laundromat, the first thing I did was television. I did a commercial, and I was smart enough to put my customers in it, my good customers, after like the first 6 months. And then it really took off. And I really didn't have to do much advertising after that because the economy was good back then. But now it seems like you're spending more money to try to bring in that little bit extra. So then it's you sit there and I know myself, I don't sleep at night because I just go over these numbers and I'm thinking, okay, if I don't spend this money on advertising a week, is it really better that I am? Or if I don't, would I still make the same amount and not have to go through all this bullshit? Because it's an eternal advertising question. It's a struggle.
Is my advertising bringing people into my business? I mean, if I don't advertise,
how do you quantify that?
Well, you don't. You can't,
because the businesses themselves aren't going to tell you. It's not like the newspaper or the radio is going to say, "Oh yeah, you know what? It really didn't work out for you this week, but we'll hit you up with a credit next week."
Right.
It usually doesn't work that way. You know?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Is like, how do you gauge your return on investment and what you spend?
You really don't.
Basically just hope.
Unless we could do like
taking your profit,
a poll.
You're taking your profit, and instead of putting it, you know, into your bank account or doing whatever you can, you're trying to build your bar. That's what advertising is on my end, in my mind. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to build my business. I want someone who's never been to the bar to hear this and come in. I want them to come in because they heard the commercial and they feel from my intense level of sarcasm. I want them to want to come into this place because my commercials are terrible. How did you come up with the brilliant idea of terrible? Dragon. It really was. There really is there's no idea. I mean, we have food. Everybody has food. I got booze. Everybody got booze. I got bands. It's like, let's just get over it. Let's just come on. This place is fun. You know what I mean? That band is okay. I mean, I lost one band canceled the rest of their shows and didn't talk to me for over a year because I made a crack about them. But really? That really happened. That was a guy I knew for a super long time. And it's funny.
It was just like a ball busting joke.
Grace's Downfall was playing. I didn't know who was playing on Saturday night. And Frank says, "So who's playing on Saturday night?" And I just said, and I didn't know. I said, "A band not nearly as good." and it was so funny sounding that it stayed. And I sent I was kind enough and mature enough to go, I think the band should hear this before it airs because it certainly could have been taken in a poor way. So I sent it to one guy and I said, please forward that to the other guy. And then the one guy said, really? And I said, yes. It's funny. You know, I don't. And then it got to the guy and he says, you know what? Why don't you just cancel all my shows? I don't like cocky bar owners. And that hurt me.
But it wasn't cocky. You
intensely.
Literally
And where are they playing now?
They're playing next month at the bar. but we, you know, we
Jimmy,
were able to
speak up.
We were able to
January
make
3rd.
up. You know, let's go right back to does it work? If people are talking about your commercial, if people like it, you know, then you've done no wrong. Who talks about radio commercials? Do you sing the Coast Tire and Auto Service Center jingle? I don't.
Do you know that I think it was like a year and a half ago, you guys did a radio commercial that Facebook went like crazy over? Like, how could these guys say this? I forget what the context of it was.
I've had that very recently. I was considered having a racist.
The fat comment.
No, was it?
Mm-hmm.
What?
The fat comment.
Still don't know what you people are trying to stir up on this podcast.
No, I'm not trying to stir anything up, but what I'm saying.
That was a tuba, if I'm not mistaken. That was a tuba. Was that from Max Game?
You've had your finger on that button for like an hour now, haven't you?
I was trying to sneak it in somewhere whole time.
You're still a little chubby. I mean, you were way bigger. Actually, I've never met this guy before in my life in there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like you're saying nobody listens to, but there's a couple that like, so even good, bad, or indifferent.
People are listening.
People are talking about
People are listening to the radio and they're listening to your commercial. If you don't have something to say on the radio, people don't hear it. Like they don't hear things unless you're saying something that is poking them or whatever. Because when you hear commercials for things, unless you hear buy one, get one free or this or that, it's just another commercial. You have to, and since I don't really have much to sell, I just like to bust balls. I like to actually just like be on the edge of something that, the producer goes, I don't know if we can do that. Then I'm happy. Now I have a commercial. Right. Now there's a commercial and someone's driving down the road and they hear something that catches their ear because they don't hear it all the time. So just trying to hope to catch people that like fun. And I could be dead wrong with my sarcasm because I'm a very sarcastic person. I'm not a hurtful person,
right?
But I see that crooked side of stuff, and I like to exploit it.
And that's the Weston field in us. We grew up around that area, and
Yeah, but also like in terms of advertising, I mean, like everybody knows that you have entertainment Wednesday to Saturday. Everybody knows that you do the same thing too. But to come up with new, interesting things to do besides advertise the band, and you have to do that 52 times a year.
That's hard. That actually is. I'm making a commercial tomorrow. You making a commercial tomorrow?
I did mine this morning.
You did yours this morning. Tomorrow,
I walked in and Duffy says, "What do you got?" And I went, "I don't know. Just turn the mics on, and we'll see what happens." It's a 2-year anniversary, so it's totally ridiculous. But it's different than Vince. Vince is more sarcastic. I can't do that yet up there because, like I said, I'm the outsider. So basically, I'm trying to take a beating on myself every week. Whoever comes on with me, let them beat me up, and I look like the fool, but that's fine, for now.
But you know what you're doing. You're not just sitting there being like, you're totally self-aware that that's the part you're playing.
One of my good friends, and he's much older than me, and he's going to get mad if I bring this up, but Jim McNulty.
He's a prick. I remember him.
He was the former mayor of Scranton, and he always told me since I was young, no matter what you do, no matter how small it is, make perception look like it's the biggest thing that ever happened. And I did that. Like my first business with my mom and dad, the corner store, the motto was, we're the biggest little corner store in Pennsylvania, and everything was big, no matter what it took. If you had to put balloons outside to make it look like something special was going on, you did it. And that's what I think Vince was trying to say. Like, we're just corner bars, but the perception is huge because of the advertisement that people pull up and they say, what?
Well, I mean, bars like Tinks and Hiles and like all those guys, like they never, when Tinks was around, like Tinks was the shit, but
because
but all they did was like, paper ad. They never did like the radio.
Because
they never did.
You're dealing with managers, and managers change every 3 months, or who's running the bar changes constantly. You're dealing with hands-on owners here. So our personalities could come out in the advertisements and we could show who we are and try to get you into the place where, those they're chains basically, but do you know it's working? I don't know. We're still here. I mean, Vince is here 4 years. His 4-year anniversary was just about a month ago.
We didn't advertise on the radio or the paper. We were open 5 months before we did any advertising.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't need to advertise those first 5 months, man. That was balls to the wall.
I didn't even advertise the first
busy.
year.
That was so busy. And like any new business that has its shit together. If you have your shit together, that first impression, it's so important. It's incredible.
Very important.
And we had all our ducks in a row, and once we amassed this little honeypot from the first 5 months of sales, I turned to my partner, and he was in the construction business, and I said, "Let's advertise. Let's see how far we can go with this." And we've been doing it ever since. So you hope people, everything is advertising. I don't dress well or smell good. So, I personally am the worst part of my business. Me, I'm the worst part of it. But everything you do, every person you meet, everything is advertising. We're advertising ourselves. I never met Mr. Howells before. You know what I mean? And he's got a warm smile, semi-firm handshake. So then
semi-firm.
Well, then you'd start to judge. You make judgments. Everything. When it comes to business, you have to be very intelligent with all your moves. When it comes to radio advertising, at this point, I don't know what I'm going to say tomorrow. I've said it all before. It's all been said. I've got food specials. I got drink specials. I got a big parking lot. I got live bands.
You get towed.
I can't believe. Yeah, you can get towed on. I don't know what the hell we're going to say tomorrow, but you just want it. You're trying to charm. You're trying to charm everyone. You have to charm them. And
he's right.
In life, you have to
to stick out. And that's one thing I learned early on when I was a teenager in business is that, you could put up 50 signs on your building and nobody will see any driving by. But if you put one, everybody's going to notice it. And that's why when Vinnie does his commercials, I believe they're sometimes over the edge. I appreciate last week's commercial. Thank you.
And I had nothing to do with that.
I kind of realized
I wasn't even there.
When they kept saying thirsties.
Because I would have charged you. I was going to drop your name that many times.
I was expecting the bill. But you do have
because you said it, because then you're like, did you hear V-Spot's new commercial?
I walked in the next morning to go record mine, and I says right off the bat, as I walked in the door, I said to Mike Duffy, I says, "No, I'm not responding, and thank you."
There'll be no retaliation from the Sidewinder.
None. But you do have to stick out because it's a proven fact. Like I said, you could put 20 signs on your building, and people will drive by and not see anything. But you put one that sticks out. That's what people notice, and that's why I think Vince is. I keep forgetting the dragon.
The dragon.
Is so
Jimmy, you have
successful. Dragon sound?
Do you have flame sounds in there?
I'll see what I can pull up here.
One of the, speaking of perception, I noticed this actually over the weekend when we were at the Blinded Passenger show. We
guys that canceled on me many years ago.
Yes.
Never mind.
They came here. They did the podcast. They had never done one before. They weren't really into that sort of stuff, but they had a great time and they promoted the hell out of it. And a lot of their friends listened to it, and a lot of them they had never listened to a podcast before. They had never really experienced that. So when I was at the bar over the weekend, I constantly had people coming up to me going, "I love this podcast thing. It's really great." And the main thing that they liked about it was that the perception was that these were just the everyday guys and we're having an everyday conversation and we're just recording it, which is exactly what we were doing. It wasn't, they said your questions were good and you had that formal part of the interview, but the best parts were when people were just going off and saying what they wanted to say and joking around and whatever. It made the listener feel comfortable enough that like, okay, these guys are cool. I should check them out, or they sound like my friends. That's something that, I think it works the same way with what you're doing with your ads is, oh, well, this sounds like an everyday guy. He sounds funny. I want to check out his place. I want to go and see what he's up to.
You know what? It's all I got. It's all I got because, I'm not downtown. You're not, I actually had a very busy intersection, but you're going somewhere. You see a bar, you see a zillion bars on it. Scranton, Pennsylvania, pizza everywhere, bars everywhere, churches everywhere. You don't even notice them anymore. So I'm just another bar, Even though I have a lot of traffic, I have to say something. and you have to advertise. If I didn't advertise, I think that I would still, see all of the regular people. But in order to grow, and you want to grow, I want to keep growing. So that's what the advertising is mainly to do. It's kind of weird when the only people that really comment on it is all your friends who would come anyway. You see people and they're like, dude, I heard your commercial. That was hilarious. I'm like, great. Bring your grandma. I mean, guys, let's get another face in here. Try the fish. You know what I mean? Like, let's do something different. Hey, now that Tommy's not in here.
Oh, thank God he had a piss. So
yeah. Let me tell you about that guy as a kid. Tell me. He was never color coordinated. He would have red socks with like blue shorts and a green hat. And I'd be like, Tommy, where's your mirror? Come on, man. This is Weston Field.
Was his only from the nipples up too?
He was always had tons of PF 55,000. Guy was as white as an albino. It was crazy. He never tanned. Never tanned. He never bought me any candy either when I came to a store. I'll be honest with you. I always came in there. And although I had enough money to get whatever I wanted, he never said, you know what, Vinny, take a fish. It's a penny. Never threw it at me.
He won't.
Never.
He won't because he thinks it's bad business.
Tight like a tiger, that guy.
Yeah.
Tight like a tiger.
The serpent is tight like
exactly.
a tiger.
He'll be in business forever.
Now, who do you, is he back? I'm so scared shitless he's going to hear us talking about him.
I'll jump in on a differentiation situation.
How about you? You should be in Kill Bill 3. You'd be perfect. You'd be perfect. Welcome back, Thomas.
That was a great sound effect, Jimmy.
Wow. That dragon got indigestion. That was that dragon really knocked it out.
That's the best you could. And is it? Wow. Why is it on so?
That was better.
Oh my God.
That was pretty good.
Is that plugged into the board or are you just playing that?
That was the fireball dragon.
Yeah, it's plugged into the board.
Screaming.
Let's make sure we turn those down for the listeners before we blow their eardrums out too.
That was
that was pretty good.
Sounds like the urinal.
Is that a dinosaur taking a poop down a hallway?
You know what I thought of?
That? Monster
you know what
chewing
went through my
bones.
mind when I heard one of those was the Addams Family. When Spot would come up from under the steps. I'm a little older than you guys. Remember when?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Stop it now! Jesus Christ!
That's what it reminded me of. Hey, you guys have any hardball questions? Come on, let's pick this up a
I
notch.
just want to comment. I think that you've hit the nail on the head in terms of your marketing strategy. When you say something that your listeners or your audience actually is interested in hearing, it is much more effectual than saying something like, buy this now, like this now, come down and do this thing. By showcasing your personality and showcasing the things that you have to offer and making this friendly banter and creating sort of a repertoire between both of you and the audience and creating this culture and having it shared amongst other networks, it's creating something a lot more bigger than you probably intended.
It's a very kind compliment.
Yes,
That's the
thank
whole.
you.
It's the whole. It is the goal. When Tom said, "Do you want to come do this?" I think of advertising. Someone will not come to my bar for whatever reason it is. They don't. The location, maybe they'll come. The best you can do in business is advertising is useless if the advertising got the person there and then they didn't like it.
Right.
Now I paid to get them in. They didn't like it. Now they're going to infect everybody they know and say what they didn't like it.
Right.
Now, so I'm attracting as many people as possible. So we have to deliver the goodies once you get there, and that's so. If you're going to advertise, you better have your shit together.
You better have your shit together. Exactly.
And I would like to take this time this, Jimmy. It's going to be about 25 minutes. I'd like to take the time to thank my staff because the people that work at the V Spot, and I mean every single one, I don't have a dud in my thoughts right now. Everyone that works there, if one of them was to leave, we would all be upset. We our chemistry, like we're like a big gooey gum ball. And you know what I mean? And like, and we all stick together.
Dragon flamed.
Yes. And I have family that works at the bar. My 2 brother-in-laws work there, the Ruddy boys. And
I love them.
I mean, and I'll tell you what, I don't think they even know how to make a rum and Coke.
They don't.
But those guys,
they can pour ice real well.
Yes. When you get it, when you ask for a drink and you get it from those guys, I mean, listen, anybody can make a drink. And that's a stone cold fact because I was hired as a bartender 15 years ago and I had never made a drink before. And it was my desire and personality to want to be a bartender that I got hired, and I was terrible. I suck, but I like people, and my bar staff, they love people. And if you come to the V Spot, you are going to be met by someone who can potentially be your friend, or will tell you, that watch your ass.
Asshole.
Yeah, watch your ass and get your shit together, or there's the door. Those are the people that work for me.
Well, the people that'll stab you in the heart instead of the back.
I don't know what that means, but I'm not 100% sure where you're going with that. But
they're honest. They're incredibly honest. They're not going to say shit behind your back.
No, we are servants. I mean, we are servants. We certainly have to, you could say something and put us back a step, but you better, we want cool people.
Yeah.
We don't want the world banging down our door. I don't want a waitress.
Yeah.
I got no waitress.
Right.
I don't want a waitress. I want everyone to like it the way it is. If my business grew and grew and grew, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. We're pretty busy now, but you have to love our staff, because you can go get food and drink anywhere, almost everywhere you can go get the stuff. So I want people to like, actually, I don't mean that. I mean, I want the people that I employ, I want them to love the customer, and you treat the customer like gold. And we have a ton of regulars that come. And that's the whole goal. Whole goal is to keep the people that do like the place, and then pray that the people that came in from the advertising like it and they were treated right.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about both you guys. Both you guys have great staff.
Well, that's why we're in business. That's why we're open tomorrow.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it's a funny story too, because I just had an employee meeting, I think 2 weeks ago. And, as with any business, it takes time. I mean, this isn't my first go around with a new business, and it takes time to get to the point where you're happy with your staff. And the first thing I said to them that night was, this is the first time that I'm 100% satisfied with what we have here, because in my experience over the past 30 years, I always tried to make it's like a family, because if your employees are happy and they all get along and there's not that cancer, and there's been times, you have to eliminate the cancer.
Right.
That could just steer the ship totally the wrong way. But when everybody's on the same page and they're happy, you're going to have a successful business, because they exuberate that to the customer coming in the door. They have a smile on their face. It's not a fake smile. They're happy to be there. They want to be there. And I can tell you for a fact, I mean, my last business, I had people that worked there for 15 years as a check cashier or as a convenience store clerk. Of course, the longer they stayed, the more I had to raise their salary. Which
you also had a bulletproof glass. They also felt kind of safe, Tom.
Well, see,
I'm not mistaken.
The period the dragon was out as a rock star, he doesn't remember the Christmas Eve that I had a gun held to my head. So when I got to the new place, when the new place came around, I had to put the bulletproof glass. But that was, hey, at the time, you could have went to convenience. You could have went anywhere.
Yeah.
You could have went to any laundromat, but you have to distinguish yourself as something different. Like the dragon said, our thing was the laundromat, there's tons of laundromat, and the laundromats had the perception of, ew, who wants to go to a laundromat?
Right.
Well, I made it to be the cleanest laundromat anywhere.
You had plants.
We had
plants there.
And you want to know something scientifically? Those plants thrived. I really have to look into that because I bought these $5 plants at Walmart, and within a month they were like 7 feet high. Wow. So I don't know if it was the humidity and the moisture.
Do you have Yahoo or Google? Because I want to get to the bottom of this.
But keeping, having the staff, that's the most important thing in the business, that their family and everything else.
Staff.
You could do all the advertising you want. You could have the best bands. You could have the best place. But the staff, that's the most important.
When I used to drink, there was a lot of times where I used to.
You don't even remember the staff.
I remember all the staff. I would go there because I knew somebody was bartending that night. That's the only reason I would go. And it was
nobody wants to drink.
You guys have all that.
Nobody wants to drink from a sour-pussed, texting, rotten day, rotten life, rotten boyfriend, rotten girlfriend type of employee that just is there for the money.
Right.
Now, I tell you this right now, there's one person who works at my bar that is there just for the money. Where everyone does everything for money, but everyone that works there is there because they feel like this is the place to work.
And here's an example after Saturday night, and this will be brief. It's 4:00 in the morning, and of course I'm still up. And I read this post on Facebook from one of my staff that tagged the other 2 people that they were working with.
I read that.
And said that, wow, I had a heart-to-heart talk with them. They're the best friends I could ever have. And I thought about it, and I'm like, they just met like maybe 2 months ago. And already they're best friends. They're like family. And like I said, that exuberates through the business. People see that, and we're very fortunate. I mean, as fictitious as it could be to have 3 bartenders of the week in this past year, even if it's a setup or not, I really don't know. But it's a testament to what we're doing. I mean, they're all family. Like when it comes to holidays, they want to be together, the staff. Like, stay open because we want to be together. And
that's priceless.
And it is priceless because here we have kids. The last thing you want to be is open.
No, I like being open. I don't have to work it.
I mean, I can't even recall in my first 2 years in this business that anybody has called in sick because they want to come to work. It's their outlet. This is where they're having a good time.
You got a nice place.
Thanks, Vince.
I worked Thanksgiving night.
Did you really?
I did.
I heard.
He wasn't open.
I did.
I wasn't open.
He made it very clear on Facebook. Any asshole bartender that has to work for an asshole bar owner will be at work while my staff is enjoying each other.
You said it. You have to stick out. So I use that as a little perception.
Yeah, but that was one of those things where you're kind of conflicted, isn't it?
Well, because of the demographics. We're in totally different areas. I know the Dragons area down there. I grew up there. I lived there. I did business there for 30 years.
We had people at the bar on Thanksgiving night.
Absolutely.
When I used to drink,
we were open Christmas night.
But
we don't open till 8.
But where I'm at,
there would be people there.
If I did that, I would offend people and lose customers. Now I know where I was down in Scranton, 2 blocks away from the Dragon here. That's fine. Hey, you're doing us a favor by opening. We don't want to be near our family.
Right. Yeah.
But up there, I would lose customers. I would offend people by opening. So I had to, go with what's right and close and make a big deal about it and say that, the Dragon's an asshole.
He's the only guy who makes a big deal about it. He's the only guy who makes a big deal about being
right now, right on the futon on the divider.
But I made a big deal about it. And did you see all the comments?
I didn't look at it.
God bless you. That's wonderful. You're doing the right thing.
I had no picketers out in front of my place on Thanksgiving. People were shopping on Thanksgiving instead of Black Friday this year.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, they were. I was at my girlfriend's relative's house, and they were talking about how they're going to go out at 10 o'clock to go shopping. I said, "You guys are nuts."
The only hate was on Facebook from my dear friend Tom. There was no hate at all, except for
if there was a dislike button, I would have hit it on Facebook.
That's the one. That last one was pretty good.
That's a good Dragon. That's very smoggish.
Very, very good.
You asked for the hardball question, so I'm gonna
hit him hard.
I'm gonna broach the subject.
Hold on, I gotta open another beer for that.
Yes, please. Now, you guys, you're talking about the positive end of things and having, you know, a rapport with your customers and a rapport with your staff, and which is amazing. How do you balance that with the fact that the area has an alcohol problem? Let's be honest. There's a lot of people around here that can't handle you know, a night out sometimes, you know, and that need help or something. How do you address that? How do you approach it? You know, how do you, I mean, cause obviously you want to look out for your customers. You don't want to, you know, if a guy has a problem, you need to step in.
Here, I bartend. So I'm not only a bar owner, I'm actually behind the bar 5 shifts a week. And when I see someone who is drunk, I say thank you, and then I say you cannot have any more, and you have to tell them that. Now, drunk in your eyes and your eyes and your eyes and your eyes and everybody else's eyes is somewhat different, but the law does not have it's black and it's white, it's 0.08 and so forth and so on. So to actually negotiate a customer, if he's a regular, it's simple. You know, hey man, you're good. That's enough. If he's a stranger, that's when it gets hairy.
That gets hairy.
Right? That's when it gets hairy because, you know, a drunk guy, if he's drunk, he doesn't think he's drunk. You know what I mean? He's having the time of his life or whatever. So I found myself in today is Monday, Friday, Saturday. I walked into work and there was a dude who just was.
What time was this? I
don't know what he was. I at 8 o'clock I bartend. I walked in and it was
8 o'clock at night.
8 o'clock at night. I have a guy there who is grunting. He's talking to a bottle across the way from him. He's just talking to.
You were kind enough to give me a ride home, Vince.
Yes. It was 3 blocks away. So, hey, and I don't want to go on too long about it, but you know, it is very, very difficult to tell someone that they're cut off, because if you have to tell someone they're cut off, they don't want to be cut off. They're having a blast.
You can't tell me what to do.
And legally, it is our responsibility to do that.
Completely. Right. We are responsible for these people. We're so responsible for these people. And the craziest thing is, you know, on the weekends, someone drank all night long somewhere else. Then they come to your place at midnight or 1 o'clock and you're in charge. You are part of their, you know, legacy of the evening. You have to diagnose, is this person getting another drink or not? And I don't have like a super memorable answer to the question, but you know, we cut people off. We cut them off all the time. Sorry.
My answer is very simple. Just this past weekend alone, I believe it was Saturday night, when I left there at 3:30 in the morning, I says, wow, there's still 6 cars in the parking lot. And I went back in and I asked the staff, and I know I gave 2 a ride home. The staff gave the other 4. So, but like the dragon says, when you don't know them and it's a stranger.
Jimmy, wake up.
The dragon.
What was that? Star Fox?
That was a pterodactyl. He's all screwed up back there.
He's waking up. What the hell button did you hit?
It sounded like an Ed McMahon laugh to me.
Is it running through the board? Yeah. That sounded like something, but from Land Before Time. It was like Ducky.
What's that other podcast late at night at like 2 a.m. about aliens?
Coast to Coast?
Yeah, that's what it came from. Coast to Coast. Yeah. I feel like I'm a Coast to Coast now.
Was it Art Bell? Isn't that Art Bell?
Yeah, Art Bell.
Yeah.
You do podcasts? You listen to these things?
No, Jimmy has this thing about aliens. I don't know what his problem is. You'll know on January 3rd.
He told me to look up Hitler trying to contact the aliens. I did.
Why are you feeding this?
Because I think it's great.
There's so much to know about. I didn't even know that Hitler tried to talk to the aliens until T told me.
Probably because he didn't.
Well, he did. Look it up.
You go on YouTube and then you search a couple.
Just because it's on YouTube doesn't mean it's real.
Well, if you go on YouTube and you YouTube the push and you watch a video And then you watch another one. Then all of a sudden you're in that.
Wouldn't it be great if on the side of like all the push things, the recommended videos were like Hitler tries to contact aliens? And
yeah, the only one we had that was there for years, I don't know if it's still there, Fat Woman Laughs is the suggested video after the push.
But if you watch 4 or 5 consecutive videos on YouTube, you're eventually going to hit the weird section.
I hate to be the one to side rail the conversation, but being sick on my couch all weekend with nothing better to do, I turned on the History Channel.
Great channel,
quote unquote.
And
why are we talking about the future?
And I learned all about these future technologies and anti-gravity machines and all these things that I did not know existed.
Look at me and tell me what show this is from. That's the Jetsons. That's what we're talking about. It's inevitable.
But this was on the History Channel.
That was a great impression.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you had to see it.
Jimmy, try it yourself. Take your finger like you're brushing your teeth and just work with your...
Which is
sorry.
It's one of the requirements to be a
is
borrower.
the equivalent of the quality of stuff that you're getting on this channel.
UFOs.
Yeah,
Right, but
it's a bunch of guys just doing this.
That's why I always had a problem with the History Channel, because I'm like, why is there ancient,
That guy.
yeah, like
Yeah,
aliens.
Everybody knows Atlantis
I'm not
is not
saying
at the
it's
bottom
aliens,
of Lake Scranton.
but it's
Everybody
aliens.
The big story.
There's
on
been a
Facebook.
claim. There's been a claim, but I
I'm
know
just
it's
saying,
not
it's
true.
not just YouTube. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh no, because
No,
the big story on Facebook today was the disappointment in the guy not being swallowed by the anaconda
geez.
last night.
Did you really? But that's.
Actually can't
but here's
talk
the thing.
about that.
That's where we've come.
If it was
That's
possible,
where we're
it
at
would have
now.
been at the V-Spot or Thirsties already.
I saw a guy once take off his leg
and
and
people
drink out of it at your
We still
place.
talk about that night.
Yeah, I saw that a
There was
couple times
actually a
too.
video on Facebook at
Yeah,
the V-Spot.
Robert Susky.
He's
Good guy.
incredible.
Good guy. One leg for the record. One-legged Rob Susky. Great guy.
He
Great
does
guy.
karaoke too.
Real badly. And I told him about that. And I told him about that last week. And Tommy just told me he overheard that I was telling some bands very candidly about their talent.
You were.
Yes, I've become a real truth
The
sayer
band Nazi.
to the bands. I have. It's becoming.
I mean, do they come up and ask your opinion, or
No.
you just vomit it
Oh,
out?
I give it to
No,
them.
he vomited it out. And
I
then-
give it to them
and
at the
then
end of the night.
Unfortunately, they come and with tail between legs and say, you know what he said?
The dragon was
And
mad
I
at
go,
me.
yeah, well, the dragon was right.
So it's
How do they respond to that? I mean, but you're coming at it from a point of view where it's like we want as many people to like you guys, isn't it? Or is it just like stop now?
Well, yeah. Well, actually, that is exactly. I really want to tell a band, if that isn't very good.
It's more constructive
they're good
criticism
enough.
than it is just
Hey, they're good enough to be there.
right.
But
Practice.
one particular band, was very difficult. Very difficult to even rethink.
You're starting to sweat.
This is a band that can play. This is a band that can get their crap together. And sometimes, I find it funny if you can only play in a handful of bars and you come and you play at, one of the bars in Scranton and you don't play well and the band doesn't know all the songs and you just don't sound that good. I mean, what other
How
chances?
is that not embarrassing?
What
to
other
them?
chances do you have?
Right.
So I would pull someone aside and I would say, listen, you guys were awful. You're not awful. You have a night here. You're playing here. You're a band. You got a gig. You guys were terrible.
And your fans didn't drink enough to realize you were awful.
So you have
Right.
if you don't
I used to say in my band, drink more, we get better.
if you don't tell someone what if I don't tell someone that, then they all go, oh man, we were awesome. You know what I mean? Or,
no, you weren't.
or whatever. Well, and you do that. And that's the hardest. That is a really tough part to tell someone that they, their craft, they're either singing or they're drumming, their guitar playing, or just as a band was not that good. If you play all the time, you have an off night, but in our area, you're not playing all the time. There's nowhere to play.
See, but I never understood being in a band why. It took me a while to get this, but somebody filmed us playing, and a lot of the times we would play for the free bar, because back then,
and
because back then all your drinks were free. We'd go through probably
that's
2
where I
cases
was
of
going to
beer.
go to next.
You know what I mean?
That bothers me.
Like-
I'm not going to speak for. The
I don't
Dragon.
know. I know you don't do it, and I think that's a great thing. But I don't know why. Like, if my plumber showed up at my house drinking, to fix my house. I'd be like, you're not going to fix my house. The bands
as good as you could,
as good as you can, but the bands are playing. The moment you put alcohol into it, especially shots and blah blah blah. And I understand that that's the environment, but you're not going to be as good as at your job.
And that's true. It's a reflection on us because we're booking them, and they're actually a subcontractor to our business. They're basically like an employee,
right?
So, I don't let my bartenders drink. It's actually illegal to let my bartenders drink. So if they're drinking and they're sloppy drunk and they're serving you and they don't even know what they're doing, I don't think the bands should be doing that as well, because then now the music reflects on their drinking.
Well, and that's the other side of the friendship that you guys are talking about. You want to be friends with your customers, friends with the bands, friends with the staff. You have to say the hard things as much as you say the good things. You got to compliment them and have great conversation. And then at the same time, you got to go, oh, well, you weren't really that great tonight, or you need to slow down or whatever. You need that balance. You need that other side.
Not easy to say.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Not at all.
It's really a drag when you have to do that.
Not at all.
Yeah, but see, a lot of like us, like we're in an environment where, it's okay for one of us to say to each other, like, we could do better. Like, you could do better. Sure. Not like, oh, you sucked.
But, I've worked with enough of artists over the years that, some of them are willing to have that criticism, and other ones, they just want to hear that they're great. And they don't want it. If you are honest with them, they
a lot of them
take
are
it offensively
for that.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Because you don't have a lot of media around here too that's very honest about that kind of stuff. You don't see a lot of concert reviews of local bands. You don't see a lot of album reviews of local bands, things like that, because they're afraid of offending people. They're afraid, if I say the wrong thing to this guy, then 10 of his friends are going to turn around and they're not going to advertise in our paper. Or they're going to tell somebody else that, screw this publication or whatever. So we just can't touch it. We can't, we're just not even going to go there, and
I'm
it's
very conscious of that.
And that's tough.
Even though I sometimes...
That was totally uncalled for.
Jimmy, I want to see your...
That was
Jimmy,
just completely on the left field.
Before I leave, make sure you guys still have a date at my place.
So you're conscious of your...
you have to know who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Let's face it, there are some bands that I call VFW bands. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then there are some bands.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's not 100 bands looking for jobs. I got 52. I have 104 Friday and Saturdays. That's all I got. Mm. So the best bands are playing every other month at my bar. These are the best bands that I can afford. That
not
are playing
necessarily
at my place.
the best talented bands, because there are a few that are just bringing tons of people, and that's where the business aspect comes into it.
Well, I think that has to factor into your equation.
Like, there's bands that I would actually probably leave and go to the B spot to watch a different band.
True. And these bands, but
there's 200
it's a business.
People. It's a business, and that's what they have to understand. Like I said before, you offer to play for free. Sure, that would be great. But if you're bringing 5 people, that's not doing me any service. And if my regulars are walking out, I just killed a night, and I have to pay bills, and I have children,
pay your staff, and
I have to pay my staff, and
everything would be different if we were on
a beach.
Yes, it would be very, very different. But and it gets back to what we sell. We need a lot of people to buy it. You know what I mean? That's everything we sell. Everybody eats, and everybody drinks, and people drink like fishes in this area. You got to get people to come in. And that's the hardest part, is when you're saying, what do you do with people that are drunk? I'm trying to make money.
Right.
And I'm polluting the community. I'm polluting the community with my products that, that these people are consuming. But we keep our prices down so more and more people will come. And that's what we need. We need more people. So no matter how good the band is, I've never knowingly hired a band that isn't good, ever. No matter how well the draw was. I do know that some bands are better than others, and that's just...
But that's
That's
I've
just
never-
that's in everything. You can look at, that there's a better camera or a lesser quality camera.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have much more hair than Rich. You know what I mean?
Most people do.
And most people do, but you look at everything and there's always some kind of gauge, a higher, better, lower, faster, slower. You just try to do what's best for my family. You have a family. I do everything. I'm a family guy.
That's what comes first.
I have a
You have
wife
to
and
think,
several kids.
You have bills at home. That's what you have to consider first. And I'll be the first one to drop this bomb on this podcast. Classic rock is dead.
Oh, Jimmy, if I hear, I'm telling you right now, if you play "Hurts So Good" as the last song of the night, because I pull the cord.
But
classic rock is dead.
It's dead.
That's what he said.
In our business, right now, it's not drawing anything. And unfortunately, 80%.
And if they draw, they don't drink.
Right.
The 40s and the 40, let's say 40 to 60-year-olds that still love live music.
Half of them are dead and half of them go home at 10 o'clock.
And the ones that come out, they give a shit about their driver's license. They give a shit about, you know what I mean? A lot of things. And they are not the ones that say, Vinnie, let's do another Rumplemans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they don't say that to me.
Right.
Then the band is great. I mean, I've heard some great classic rock bands.
Absolutely. And that's my error. So like in the beginning, I made that mistake. I was booking, classic rock bands and then wondering why there was only 20 people that came in. And
that was just one person leaving.
That was a whimper. That was a whimper.
And you'll realize that January 3rd with a blaze.
Yeah.
So
I hope you're prepared to make no money on January 3rd.
This is going to be a favor. It's a favor to my friends from wherever Jimmy's from. And Amanda, she lives up by Canada, right?
I'm actually.
I love that commercial too, where you said she comes from a place where they don't have homogenized milk.
Yes, I did say that. So true. So true. You'll be on the radio, Jimmy. Don't worry. I'll get you one more time before you play there.
Better.
Unfortunately, on January 3rd, Jimmy, I have the Pearl Jam tribute band Leash.
Oh, you're screwed.
No.
So you're absolutely screwed because nobody from the Valley will be going to the V spot that night.
All your friends, all your air quote friends.
Pack a lunch. It's going to be a long night.
All right.
You have a tougher questions?
Can I, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, we're at 2 hours.
I know. I just realized that myself.
We're at like the Born Supremacy.
And I don't mean to take, this is not a plug for my business. This is something it's a worthy cause, but.
Oh, yeah. You can plug that.
December 21st.
Part of you guys being on here is that you should be allowed.
Is it your birthday?
Is it
December 21st?
The winter solstice?
It
It
is.
is the winter solstice.
Well,
I had something right that was intelligent.
Come to Thirsties on December 21st for the Dragon's birthday party.
Jimmy, wake up.
Jimmy? Wait, he's trying to find. Thank you.
Thank you.
But also.
Finally.
Would you go finally?
Finally.
Yeah, do that one again. You're the. I'm home, honey. These are.
It's like Mortal Kombat. Kill him.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Jimmy, you're going to be so good on your second day back there.
But anyway, December 21st, we're having a benefit that actually myself and Gina, my bar manager, are doing. It's for Make-A-Wish. There's actually 5 local kids that have wishes, like in the extreme area, that we're trying to raise as much money as we can. And we have entertainment that only the best entertainment that donated their time for that day. And I believe, Marky, you said you were going to MC that for me.
I believe you said I was.
Oh, well, either way. And please come out.
I'm so afraid.
What's the event called?
It's actually Make-A-Wish. We're with the organization itself, and they gave me such a hard time over flyers that, with logos, and it's the legit deal here nationally that we're doing this. So
They have a style guide. You have to follow the style guide. Yeah.
Well, when they sent me
this
the
isn't
original
Facebook flyers, brother.
No, they sent me the logo, and then I tried to stretch it out, and I says, well, there's not enough pixels, so I went on Google and I found different Make-A-Wish things, and they said no. So it took me about 6 weeks to actually get the flyers right.
Just call me, dude.
But the benefit is in 11 days, so it's really important, and there's a lot of things going on. We have, I think,
what time does it start?
It starts at 3:00. It goes to 11. Jimmy, you're there with Amanda.
The duo.
The duo, and
what's that called, Jimmy? And Blaze comes on later on.
Yeah.
But a lot of good things.
Who's all playing that day?
It starts
Who's
off.
playing Vinny's birthday party?
Yes,
Vinny's birthday.
To know.
The dragon.
Thank you.
I couldn't wait for you.
I think he just sneezed.
That was a pit bull.
Dude, is that somebody throwing up? Like incessantly? He's the worst sound guy ever.
Like I said, his second day tomorrow is probably going to be way better.
You hear him laughing in there?
That was good.
That sounds like some of your past porn videos.
It's horrible.
Back to the Make-A-Wish benefit. Make-A-Moan. That'll be at the V spot.
But the entertainment starts at 4 with 6 more roads. Duo, Lena, and Brian August donated their time. And then I believe at 5 o'clock, Initial, it's Sean, and I don't know.
They're real good. They play classic rock, but they're good.
They're
Have you
really
had them
good.
yet?
At a benefit, but I did book them one date, or 2 or 3.
They're
but
good.
Mostly duos.
Nobody will be there. But they're excellent.
And I think 6, we have the Make-A-Wish speakers, and then the Olyphant Burrow is bringing this huge Santa and sleigh. I mean, it's got to be a block long. And 7 o'clock, we have Jackson V. 8 o'clock is the Pearl Jam tribute band Leash.
Yep.
9 o'clock is the guy in there doing the sound and his girlfriend.
Is that 9? Or 10?
And then at 10 o'clock, Madison Avenue and Dragon booked them.
Yeah, I gotta.
No, seriously.
No, I got some messages from who's that
Mark?
really good guitar player? What do they call him?
Oh, Alan Van Worth.
Robot.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
He is.
But
I watched the videos.
He's one of the best guitar players you've never heard of.
No, he's played at the bar with that
Hostile Authority.
Hostile
Wasn't it?
Authority. But they're a band that gets it. And meaning by that, in our end of this, you know, we put a lot of money and time into advertising, but they get it. They know they need to promote themselves too. They want to have a successful night for us, but also for them. And that's what I don't get, because you taught me the package of the door, you know, the door against a guarantee. And if I was in a band right now and I was told that, hey, if I bring 300 people to your place and they're all going to pay $500, I'm going to get it all. I'm going to have my grandmother there, you know?
Yeah.
And I just don't think maybe 70% don't get that. You know, they think that, why should we? You know, why should we? Because
is it because of the guarantee?
No, because the guarantee, I think, is low enough where, you know, it's $100 a guy. So if I was to say, hey, if we could bring 250 people, we're going to get 1,000 instead of, you know, 400, I'd have my whole neighborhood there if I was in a band. I just don't think they get that. They don't know how much is involved on our end of it, as far as we spend a lot of money just not only on advertising, but radio, Electric City, whatever it is, Facebook.
In time.
But there's also, before you even play a song, we have to pay BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, thousands of dollars for the rights for them to play the covers.
Don't open up a bar.
How much is it every year?
Says the dragon.
It depends on
how well you lie.
How well you lie. That's exactly what I was going to say. But
on average,
they want to get paid.
They want to get
paid. And you can negotiate it. You could say, hey, I don't really have that many people.
I really don't have a DJ, because a DJ puts you in the enhanced section where it's twice as much. So I think on the average, and I don't know what the dragon pays,
a lot.
But
we all do.
But it's probably $1,000 a company. And
so would it be safe to say $3,000 to $5,000 a year? You guys have to pay
easily
just to have cover bands.
Oh, easily. And I just started
the jukebox. Like all of everything.
A commercial on your television. Everything. They want to be paid for that, and they don't realize that.
Wait, a commercial on your television that you have for your NFL Sunday ticket?
The malls even have to pay for elevator music right now, and that's how bad it is. And they don't realize that. And the only reason they come after us as bar owners is because whether you're a sole proprietor or you're an LLC or you're, corporation, we have a physical address. Okay. 99% of the bands, on the exception, Nowhere Slow, Grace's Downfall, those bands, they're registered with BMI. They're paying their fees. They get fees in return for their music being played. But everybody else doesn't have a physical address for them to go after. So they come to us. And if you don't pay, you're not going to be open very long.
Cooper's writes their entertainment a check. They started that a long time ago. People don't want to play there. You know what I mean?
Well, because they have to,
claim it.
Band X.
You have to claim it.
Yeah, when you make the check out to Band X.
I would love to pay everybody with a check. Can you imagine at the end of the year when we're doing our taxes, all that money that we'd be able to claim against our business that we paid? But the bands, listen, we are not New York City. We're not Philadelphia.
No.
We're a small little town, and we're just trying to sell booze and get entertainment out there, have some rock bands, have some fun. How many people are professional musicians that you meet? How many people come and set up their equipment? 95% of these people have day jobs, night jobs, whatever. Right. They're just trying to make some extra bucks. That's what they're doing.
And if if it's a good night and you're able to get $100 a guy for 4 hours with your breaks in between, and I'm going to ask you a tough question: who makes $25 an hour in Scranton, Pennsylvania, or Lackawanna County?
You're asking me that?
Tax-free, $25 an hour. That's what it comes down to. Because I could tell you right now, my bartenders aren't.
None of us are.
No. So all I'm asking, and if they're listening, work with us in this tough economy right now. There's cutbacks here and there, so don't be surprised if, I can't book you because you're not bringing people or whatnot.
Yeah, it's nothing personal.
It's nothing personal. And like the Dragon said, they are taking it personal. My whole schedule next year is going to be a big surprise to everybody. Sorry, Jimmy, but I'll probably never see you again after tonight.
I think he's dead.
I know. I think that's what that was. He fell over.
All right. So who do you guys have playing this weekend? Who's Friday and Saturday?
Let's see. Tomorrow starts my entertainment on a Tuesday. Do you mind if I recite?
No, go for it. Right? We're okay with that.
I'll do this quickly.
And I wish I could get to that point that I could have entertainment every night.
Yeah. Well,
every night but Monday. Monday we don't have any entertainment.
Nobody took the spot of Hiles. Yeah. Is it just tough, or is
I was asked so many times, but I have pool league. Those guys wanted Wednesday at my bar, but if I discontinue pool league, I might not get it back. You don't mess with the pool league.
No,
people.
Or darts.
People are nuts.
I got rid of the pool table to build a stage.
Well, you don't mess with the pool league. Anyway, I was offered to have the Village Idiots every Wednesday, and I said I would love to do that. I said, but if I cut out the pool league, and then Hiles opens back up, and then you leave me and go back to Hiles,
right? And now you screwed yourself with the pool league.
I screwed myself with the pool league. And so anyway, Tuesday is Jeremy Burke. He is adorable. I'll be first to say that. Okay, and then Wednesday is the Breathing Easy duo, and my friend Gina is engaging, Very, very nice lady. Who she sings with, I have no idea. That guy's very quiet. I think she calls him Tom. And then on Thursday is somebody very important. I forgot. Let's go to Friday. I did. I just wrote it down, but
Isn't it
no offense.
Is it Jackson's week?
No, I would never forget Jackson. Jackson's there every other week. But anyway, on Thursday, our local heroes, 2-minute warning.
That's
Have you had them?
Thursday?
No,
That's Friday.
I don't even know who's playing Thursday. I forget.
Friday.
So Fridays.
Morning.
Have you ever had 2-minute warning?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Couple times. Booked them next year. It's amazing.
And aren't they good?
They're really good.
They play fun music.
They
Actually,
play
they're
fun
kind of
music.
classic. They're not the old 60s, 70s classic rock, but they play a lot of 80s, 90s
A lot
stuff.
of good
and
stuff.
they're really good. And Pat Zazeski's an excellent singer.
guy.
He's not on Facebook. I tried to find him today.
Yes, he is.
More lies from my dear friend Tommy.
No,
Tell
I
of
have
all
him
these
as
years.
a friend.
Pat Zazeski? Is he Patrick Zazeski? Anyway,
Oh,
thank
Jesus
you.
Christ, just send him the
Thank
link.
you. Then on Saturday is Sucker Punch. And if you don't come to see them, you don't know what you're missing. Those guys are unbelievable. Remember Harpo? I know
Yeah.
I know at least one of the original members is in the band, maybe two, but they were the best sounding. It's the only band that took about an hour and a half to do sound check that's ever played there. I had never heard anything in my bar sound like them guys. It was the greatest single sound that of any band that's ever played there. So, and they were phenomenal. And Thursday, I'll guess we'll have to do a separate podcast because I don't know who's playing.
12-second
Thursday.
podcast.
And it's
So you can say
great.
who's
And it's
playing.
crazy because I just wrote it on the board who's playing there Thursday. Someone's gonna be super mad.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on it.
Who's playing at your place?
Hold on. I'm looking at the Dragon schedule.
Yeah, this is crazy. Thursday. Who would I book on a Thursday? Oh my God, Jimmy Carroll orgy. You guys ever hear of that? The Jim Carroll orgy? Phenomenal.
How does one forget an orgy?
I'll tell you what.
You didn't even update your Facebook. It still says Jackson V.
Oh yeah, well that's my cover photo though, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll update my cover photo when everybody's in bed. I don't want to put that burden on everybody else to see that shit again. But Jimmy Carroll gets the most likes of when I put his picture up that he's playing. He gets the most likes any and every time he plays. James Carroll.
Why?
Thank you. Why? I don't know because he's a real gentleman and he resembles Dave Matthews. And I think people are mistaken that I have Dave Matthews
and they're all
at
confused.
the bar and they hit the like button. And then on Sunday is karaoke and
not the NFL ticket.
and not the NFL ticket. So on Sunday,
You're a karaoke fan.
Sometimes I like
You really
karaoke.
perked up there.
I did.
yeah,
I got excited.
ants in your pants over there. But Sunday is karaoke.
Want to go to
and it's,
karaoke Sunday at the V Spot? Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and they let you sing. It's my day off. I will not be there. If I'm there, I will have this face. The fuck am I doing here?
This is the reason why I canceled karaoke.
And who do you have?
Wednesday, we have the Valley's own DJ MC every other week. Jackson V's next Wednesday, so it's his week off. We concentrate more on Monday, Thursday, and Sundays on football. People don't want music during that time because they spend $2,800 a year on the NFL ticket. So there's nobody's allowed to talk
While that's happening.
playing.
Yeah.
I have to get my money's worth. Friday is our 2-year anniversary weekend.
Yep.
Nowhere Slow at 5:00 starts, kicks it all off.
Duo?
Duo.
I can't afford them guys.
I
It's
know.
2-year anniversary.
But I have to do a no cover like you kind of did. So Duo at 5:00, 5 to 8. London Force for the first time duo. I put that together myself.
Shannon and Angelo.
Like I did Jimmy and Amanda when they first met.
Angelo and who?
Shannon from London
Oh,
Force.
yeah. Oh, they're so good.
They are.
They're
But
so
I
good.
had to talk them into doing a duo because they were trying to go out and do a 4-piece acoustic. And I'm like, that's not going to work. That's like the size of most bands. So you're not going to get booked anywhere. So let's do a duo. So they'll be there. Every 2 hours, there'll be a $2 drink special because it's 2-year anniversary. Coors Light girls are there at 9:00, 9 to 11 on Friday. There's 2 of them too. So everything's 2.
So in
4 nipples.
4 nipples. But if you divide
Jimmy.
that by 2, 4 nipples by 2 is 2. So. All right, that's enough.
Stop. That's the worst zombie orgy ever.
Saturday is part 2 of our anniversary weekend and rare live music performance by The Push. And I don't know if you ever heard of The Push Dragon, but go to YouTube and see the ridiculous videos that became popular. One has almost 1 million hits. I don't even know how that happened.
What's in store for...
You just have to come to Tease and find out.
And
it's a very push answer.
With special guests Jimmy and Amanda from Ablaze and Pollyanna, which I Googled today and I found out it was
today.
Yeah, it was a children's book from 1913. I don't get that, but whatever. Name your band, whatever you want.
It's actually just Jimmy reading that book.
All you see is from my nipples up.
I went to Google to find a picture of Pollyanna, this band that's a special guest, and I found the children's book.
Put the cover of the book up.
Yeah,
that'll be fucking brilliant.
And then Sunday's football, because I paid $2,800, and
somebody shows up,
you're gonna watch it. No, the place is usually packed for football, and we just started brunch, and it was Marky's idea to do that, and it was very successful the first 2 weeks. But
this
people,
the third week?
But you know what? The alcohol content, the drinking level went down because nobody wants eggs and bacon and then give me a Miller Lite. It's kind of disgusting. So, but
not for me.
Do you
have orange juice?
Do you have
that was me.
Do you have mimosas?
You should do mimosas.
Look, stop pushing this crap. You know what? I'm gonna start opening it up at 3 now.
I'm sorry. You just need Eggs Benedict.
But we open at noon for brunch on Sundays and football and everything. So, and don't forget, we have I'm going to say Lackawanna County's only outdoor heated patio bar that you can sit out there, drink, and look through the windows
and see the snow.
I mean,
you can't do that at Morgan's.
No, because there's a difference. That's a tent with vinyl.
Right, this is not
windows.
Plexiglass.
This isn't. No, I don't
plexiglass.
No, I have
you?
marine vinyl and canvas, which is awesome. You got to come up and see this.
I saw a picture of it. It looked like it was clear.
Yeah, it is awesome.
When did canvas become clear?
No, the bottom's canvas and then the glass. Well, not the glass. The whatever it is.
Yeah, what is it?
Vinyl. Marine vinyl.
Marine vinyl is clear?
Yeah, they put on boats and stuff like that. But we have real heat,
you
not
mean
those patio heaters. No, not like Morgan's. That's totally different. It's like a wrinkled vinyl at Morgan's. This is smooth.
Gotcha.
Like the back of a soft top Jeep window.
Right. And real heat, like not the patio heaters. We put a big blower.
Supposed to heavy set people breathing on you.
Yes.
Right.
And a full bar outside. So it is pretty neat. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but
it sounds nice.
But you don't have it.
No, I don't.
Can you imagine the V-spot with an outdoor patio?
No.
But somebody did say this to me the other day, and I'm going to repeat this, and I'm not just saying it because the Dragon's here. They said that if T from Thirsties and the Dragon Vinnie from V-Spot ever got together and put their heads together and went down to, let's say, Molly Brannigan's that's been closed for 2 years and put that together, it would be...
Monumentous.
Yes.
Monumentous.
Yes.
I am not interested. I'll be the first to say.
But if somebody wants to buy my place in the meantime, then maybe I'll go.
But I will tell you this. I don't want ever any building where I need to pay Mr. Russo $10,000 a month and pray to God. I mean,
but Mr. Russo doesn't own that. That's the Scranton Parking Authority, which we're good with that right now. We could get a good deal.
But
I am $10,000 a month.
No, it's not.
Oh.
No, but I mean, there are a lot of places that are like, they're just.
I'm best friends with the mayor.
You work to pay the mortgage.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of bar owners that I know that are for sale or forever miserable because they don't own their property. And like, there's a bunch of bars for sale right now.
There's a bunch of bars that closed around me just in the last 6 months.
So
Five.
There are 5. The bar business is not. It's just really not as easy. And it takes a lot of want. I want to succeed, and I have to put my want has to equal that. Because if you just think you're going to succeed, you're probably not. You're probably not going to succeed. You're probably going to have some fun. And then you're probably going to have people calling your house looking for payments. That's probably what's going to happen. They're going to be like, is this Vince
or their
Archer?
cell phone?
And because to be great, no matter what industry you're in, or if you're a doctor or anything, to be great, you have to work at it. You have to put everything. You're married to this business. I mean, I thought I was married to my former business. This is 100 times worse. I mean,
Which makes me want to give a shout out to Donnie Cerace, who owns Gavin's. That guy's 20 years. 20 years.
Oh my God. He's like
There's to you, Donnie. I think of you all the time.
He's
you
like
are
one of the
amazing.
X-Men.
He is one of the X-Men.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy's, he's rebuilt his business. He's shut it down. He's reopened. He's put money into it. And that's a single bar owner that has been around for 20 years with everything on his shoulders. That guy kicks ass. That's tough. I can't. I'm open 4 years, 16 years from now. I'm still.
You'll be 66.
Yeah, I'm still at the V spot. I will not be 66.
You'll be in that jazzy that you had
I'll be
from Walt
64.
Disney. Well, whatever.
But I just couldn't.
Like you're gonna look a ton better.
That guy's a machine, and he never looks tired.
He never looks tired. I see him at the bank, and then him and I shoplift at the Price Chopper on Sunday. right after that, and then we stuff our pockets full of fruit.
Well, that's how you stay in business.
That's how we do it, But he's got energy. And while we're shouting out other bar owners, Jeff Wilkers and Lisa Alberico at the dugout. I mean, they're 15 years strong. 16 maybe. Tony Frabel over there at Morgan's. Great. Dave Amori at the FAR. You know what I mean? This is a guy. These guys have. It's a very hard business, especially when the law is telling you not to give people what they're there for. They want another drink, and I got to tell them you can't have another drink. So tough to do it.
And the underlying cost, like just the license itself and the upkeep and the ramp classes and training your employees and paying for them to get the ramp testing, which is responsible alcohol management program. There's a lot behind the scenes that nobody knows about. You just don't open the door and say, here's a beer. There's a lot. There's a lot more than my previous business. And I was licensed with the state for check cashing, lottery, cigarettes, everything. There's more to this, and it's a bigger responsibility. Insurance alone is just...
Liquor liability. Liquor liability insurance, it could be, for a bar my size, is like 10 grand.
Yep.
A year.
Do you know what you get for that? Nothing. That's in case somebody leaves your bar and hurts themselves and they sue you. That pays for the lawyer, and that pays to fight your case, and the payment comes out of that. But you pay that, and you're just hoping once people leave your place that they're safe and they're sound, but you pay 10 grand to make sure you pay 10 grand to make sure that you are not destroying someone's life, because you're insuring yourself. You overserve this person or whatever, you're found guilty, say you're right or you're wrong. You go to court, V-spot, you are responsible, Well, I paid for that, paid for that lawyer that defended me, and I paid for that settlement. But wow, $10,000
and it's
$200 a week.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy.
Think about it.
And it's crazy because not only that, we own the buildings we're in. So, like, I had a harsh reality when I found out that State Farm, John Ryan, there's your free plug, lower my rates. But that after 30 years of being in business, and I said, look, I bought this building and I'm going to do this business. I need insurance. I'm sorry. We can't insure a bar or a restaurant. And I'm like, why? Well, it's too high liability. We don't get involved in that. But I can recommend this guy that, whatever the insurance is, God knows where it's from. It could be from Syria. I don't know.
Mine's from Miss Cleo. Do you remember the insurance? Remember that Jamaican lady late night? She's fine.
Psychic?
She's got me.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the
she told me nothing will ever happen. Just send $100.
Right. And the premiums, they're astronomical. Just from the building and that type of insurance alone is like $6,000 a year.
Cleo.
On top of your $10,000.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yep.
Nobody's
Hello,
still.
how are you today?
He's getting better. He's getting better.
Miss Cleo.
Yeah, that's the daddy.
I want to insure my bar.
This
Will
has to
anybody be
be-
hurt?
Is he incarcerated?
Was.
You have a good life now. All right, go ahead.
We've just entered into the longest podcast.
No, I've had longer.
There's
Yeah,
nobody.
that's the
I
daddy.
don't think we have.
I used to do podcasts. They used to be longer.
There's nobody listening at this
No.
point to these things,
No.
are they?
I'm seeing some forgetting possibly, and I'm seeing a new baby in the next
Shut
3 months.
the fuck up. You take that devil worship. You get rid of it.
Did he play football when he was in high school?
Yes.
Didn't she go to jail for insurance
She
fraud?
did. She did.
All right, you want to wrap this up, man?
Why don't you?
All right, so no, you do it. I'm sorry.
Don't do it, all right?
I think Miss Cleo needs to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Jimmy can't see straight. Look.
Thank you very much, Vinnie.
Yeah.
All right, stop now. You're gonna die. I'm gonna put the pillow over your head while you sleep, and you're gonna suffocate and die. Stop. You're gonna be laughing while I'm doing it too.
All right, go ahead.
I want to say thank you guys so much for your time and a little insight, and we'll be sure to have you back on. And anybody, these guys are awesome guys who own great establishments, and you should definitely go to the View Spotter Thursdays whenever you get a chance. So
Thanks. Can you polish this up so I don't sound like so much like a dick?
Pardon me?
Did you say $2.99 more?
All right, so thank you guys, and thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.